Have you ever seen Clockwork Orange?
Yeah.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the just horrible things that movie portrays?
It's pretty rough, and it's a very strange thing to put into Space Jam 2.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's necessary to put such horrendous things in cinema?
No.
I agree.
I strongly am against that. I utilize cinema as an escape. I would just don't want to watch that kind of stuff.
I concur. I have never seen it, and I will never see it.
Why did that conversation start then?
This morning I was watching a video about staging and blocking and how it affects storytelling. And one of the examples I used was a scene from that. And it was a completely, whatever scene. But then I was I just remembered, things I've heard about it. So I just Googled the synopsis, read 2 paragraphs on Spark Notes. And I was like, this,
it's horrible.
This is so unnecessary.
Yeah.
I also think, worshiping any director because edgy, because obviously there's some people that give him his flowers for his filmmaking, which I believe is there,
for sure.
And he's done more movies that are different, but 13 movies to be exact.
Was Chris Nolan, right?
No, Steven Spielberg. But I think there is a large population of I think it's the same type of people that think if it's an A24 movie, it means it's going to be...
That movie is one of the pinnacle film bro movies.
Yes. Right. That's all, folks.
Okay for you, Big.
Yeah, the Droogs being in Space Jam 2 is certainly questionable. That being said...
Lola Bunny's not hot anymore.
Dude, don't get me started. Oh my golly.
Every time they keep showing pictures of her too, she's less hot.
It gets worse. I think because it's already, when it's 2D, it's weird. Yeah. But then it gets so much worse when it's 3D, which I think is just bound to happen with any cartoon to 3D
I
conversion.
mean, curves in for 3D would have been even...
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Welcome to the Best Boys podcast. This is a podcast.
Yep. It is. It's true. And there's so much to talk about.
So do you think the coronavirus was actually started in a lab, or was it from a bat performing cunnilingus? Oh, wait. Bats don't do that, allegedly.
Not just bats.
Batmen.
Heroes don't do that. That was the exact quote.
That hurt a little.
Was that heroes don't do that?
That was big for Joker fanboys who are just a little creepy. Because they they have their long skinny fingers that they do this and they go, yes, villains probably bleep all uses of
for sure
terms for vagina in this episode.
My biggest, it's not even a hot take. My opinion on this is,
should we real quick explain?
Do we need to explain that? Okay,
I'm sure there's someone that maybe not heard.
One of the writers for Harley Quinn season 3 said that there was a scene that they had to take out because DC made them take out of Batman going down on Catwoman.
Right.
And they said that the quote was, heroes don't do that.
Yeah, so the scene got vetoed, and that was their reason.
And that was their reasoning. And then they said something about toy sales.
Interesting. I mean, I'm sure there's some toys that could have been made based off of that type of transaction.
But my takeaway from this is not that Batman doesn't pleasure his women.
Perform cunnilingus.
Yes, it is that Catwoman would not be with somebody who does not do that. I strongly believe that.
Now, part of me, I don't think anybody in a suit that just makes decisions at DC or Warner Brothers is in charge of canon.
No, for sure.
So that should be just said. 2, I see a world where Batman doesn't go down. There's definitely something cold and calculated about Batman as a personality trait.
Batman might not. Bruce Wayne does.
Okay. See, you're right, but only in the sense that Bruce Wayne is the Mask, and he just does that because that's what a Bruce Wayne type of human would do. You know? Like, I feel like Batman's lovemaking is very much like it doesn't happen.
I mean,
for the most. Also, what? We don't want to show Batman going down a Catwoman, but we can have him Batgirl on a roof in the costume.
Yeah, we're gonna not talk about that because
that movie.
That movie.
Really just that part of that movie.
Yeah, no, yeah. Everything that they decided to add to that movie.
Yes. That being said,
I do have to disagree with you on that though, because of the since like 2015, the countless comics where we see
since the 60s
or 70s for sure, but like New 52 and on, they are constantly getting as close to showing like actual sex between Batman.
Don't they show Batman's dick at some point like 5 years ago or something? 2 years ago?
It was like 10 years ago, I think.
Okay, wow. Time flies when you're reading New 52. But
yeah, I think. I don't remember. I mean, maybe it was more recent.
It was in the past decade.
Yeah, it's definitely New 52 or beyond. But like they constantly show it and they get so close. And there's this one artist who is currently drawing Batman Catwoman. So like he's pretty close to it. And he just, when this whole thing was out, he was just posting panels of the sex scenes that he's drawn between them. But like they're so like it's literally their specific shading away from showing actual sex in these comics. It's like, why is it a big deal for toy sales when we're already seeing it? Why? Because it was going to be an animated adult show.
Yeah, I think it's probably just some boomer energy type decision of like, oh, well, since it's a cartoon, it's for kids, you know? But you could say the same thing about comic books, which are both not true. But, yeah, I don't know. I just do think there is... Obviously, this is not what they meant by that, but like I think there is something to be said about Batman is a cold and selfish lover, I think. I believe that.
I will get with that with anybody besides Catwoman.
Okay.
Because I think Catwoman challenges him enough.
Fair. They're on a similar wavelength.
Whereas I feel like if we've got Talia, Batman and Talia, no way.
Well, that's because that was non-consensual. It's really hard to perform oral sex when you're unconscious.
When you retcon that.
Right, retconned.
You're not wrong, but they retconned that. I can't believe that was the thing that they just let happen.
There's a lot of things that a lot of people have let happen in fictional storytelling over the years. That being said, I do love seeing any comic book where Batman is wearing just the cowl but no shirt.
And that's mostly ones where he travels to the League of Assassins. Yeah. So,
I wish they would have done that for the Arrow scene where he just had the hood but no shirt. Anywho, we're getting distracted. Really, my next question is, what member of the Justice League definitely
does or doesn't
performs oral sex on a consistent basis?
Wonder Woman.
I don't know. Didn't she take a vow of abstinence after Steve Trevor died and then re-died in the 80s?
I mean,
canonically, she's only had sex twice, and one of them was technically a different body.
No.
Also, questionable consent.
Are we talking about DCEU specifically?
Yeah, I mean, for this, no, we don't have to.
No, that one doesn't.
We don't have to, but that one does not. Yeah, well, I mean, hasn't Wonder Woman had like a bunch of girlfriends on like the Amazon island in the comics, and then also
she's very bisexual.
Bruce Wayne, Superman, whoever. Yeah.
She might even be technically pansexual because she doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, she also maybe just different rules because not human. Like I don't know if that. Yeah, I think that's just above our understanding. At least it's above mine.
Who do you think definitely does?
Superman, but only because he's such a simp. And that's not to say that only simps would do such a thing, but like that man is like so in love with Lois Lane, like They have a very like he just cares too much, you know,
but
to
also,
not.
He's a little afraid to have actual sex because he's like, I might break you.
It's like, I know. Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's a little bit easier to control. Yeah, his power scaling there. That's probably a good point. It's a safer thing for everyone. Definitely. I think probably Cyborg, since he doesn't have a dick. That's all he can do. Only human thing he has left is a mouth.
I mean, yeah, he's got a mouth and what, left eye?
Left eye, pink eye, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
This has got to be the most graphic episode yet.
There was the one episode where we talked about Superman's dick.
True.
Who else? Let's just expand it to superheroes.
Flash is a
and heroes.
virgin.
Oh, that Flash 100% without a doubt.
Yeah. In DCEU, Flash.
Yeah, let's say DCEU and the MCU as well. Let's bring that into the conversation.
Captain America. Well,
is he a virgin still? I mean, post time travel.
I think Captain America does not have sex until after Endgame.
Jeez.
That's just an assumption. It makes sense. That being said,
no, he doesn't. No.
Chris Evans definitely fucked Scarlett Johansson. Whether that was MCU canonical or not is in the question, but...
Do you know it for sure? Or is that just a fair assumption?
Obviously not for sure, but like... Yeah,
did they ever have an actual relationship?
I don't know, but I just saw a TikTok the other day that was just a fan cam of them with BTS footage from like different movies they've been on.
They've been in movies for the last together for the last 20 years.
Yeah, so like...
And they're both...
If I was either of them, I would have in either direction. Like, I think Captain America falls into the same lane as Superman, where it's like, once he's back with Peggy, he for sure probably does, just because it's like such a... You don't think?
I don't think so.
Why not? You don't think his time in the future kind of taught him equality?
Because they're in the 60s and he doesn't have to.
Well, right. Societally, if that's a word, he doesn't. But like... You don't think his time from 2010 to 23?
No, 'cause he didn't have sex.
Well, yeah, but he at least like saw how the world worked, you know? He was totally down with Nick Fury.
Maybe once or twice. It's not
fair.
a consistent thing.
That's fair.
Tony Stark, on the other hand.
No, he doesn't.
Not at all.
Never. He thought about it once and he's like, that'd be funny.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, no dude that grew up a billionaire, nah. No. And that's not a good thing. It's a bad character trait.
Oh, for sure.
Just to be clear. Hulk, obviously not, because he's not allowed to get a boner. Oh, Bruce Banner's not allowed to get a boner.
What are you about to imply?
I mean, Hulk has kids in the comic books.
We have not seen that.
Isn't there a rumor that he's gonna have a kid in She-Hulk? Actually, maybe this is breaking news.
I don't know.
I feel like you told me that. If that's not the case, I must have heard it on another podcast. I don't know.
Hawkeye. I mean, they have what, 3 kids? So probably
at least,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe years ago before they got old and brittle.
Let's backtrack back to the...
Captain Marvel definitely eats box.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and so does Valkyrie, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, people would like it to be the two of them together.
I wouldn't mind that.
Backtracking back to Batman, the source of all of this.
True.
Our Lord and Savior Zack Snyder chimed in on this. I'm not putting the image up because we will be taken down for graphic content.
Well, it's not even that graphic. It's just ugly.
It's so ugly. It looks like he pulled another one where he's like, what if I took inspiration from Frank Miller? Because it looks like the Dark Knight Returns art. And Ian put it best when he said it looks like he is giving her raspberries as opposed to any other enjoyable action.
Cunnilingus.
You said Cunnilingus so many times. You just think it's funny?
I mean, it's the most PG way to say it, I think. It's the most Spotify friendly.
I think eating box is more friendly.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief.
All 4 of our listeners are gonna love this.
Yeah. Yeah. On the subject of munching box, yeah, Zack Snyder. Okay, let's take it back to DC. Really, I think it's safe to say that most characters would.
Yeah, oh for sure. If they're a hero, they care about other people.
Yeah, except for Tony Stark. He's definitely selfish.
And I don't think Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne does at all.
Ben Affleck Batman could be a virgin.
Did you ever hear about who he had planned to cast Catwoman as?
Ana de Armas.
No. That was never real.
Okay, that was just fan casting?
Yeah,
okay. Because that was a thing, but like an internet thing.
Carla Gugino, or however you say her name. Did you see San Andreas?
No, but I'm aware of The Fault.
Yeah, it's about that. You watched the Watchmen movie?
I have watched The Watchmen.
She's the older Silk Spectra in the Watchmen movie.
Okay. That's the Zack Snyder movie?
Another Zack Snyder movie, so it's not surprising.
Should we talk about the deleted scene from the Snyder Cut?
Which one?
Where... no. That was a joke.
Robert Pattinson and Colin Farrell are doing reshoots next month for the Batman, which is exciting that it's those 2 characters. Just because some Batman Penguin action is always fun.
Mm-hmm. So, what does that imply for the timeline of the movie's release? If reshoots are now,
I don't think it's getting pushed back again.
Right, but does that deny the possibility of it getting pushed forward? Is there any possibility it could come out in 21?
I don't think it'll come out in 21. Because it's early enough 22 as well that I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, but it's less than a year from now, so I'm okay. And I do think we will get a trailer by August.
That's very cool.
Because
August is going to be a big month for trailers. Because we're going to get Spider-Man.
Hopefully Batman.
If we haven't already.
Yeah, I think we'll get Spider-Man by next month.
Okay. Really... Yeah, we've said it so many times. It's just summer of content.
Yeah.
Year, second half of the year.
And then we get DC Fandom 2 sometime later part of this year.
Yeah, I think that's in August. If they do it at the same time as last year, because it was in August. Yeah. That would make sense then if they drop the next trailer for Batman at Fandom. Yeah, that's what they did last time.
At Fandom, it'll either be at Fandom or with the Suicide Squad. So either way, it's coming out in August.
Right. Should we really quick do a quick Loki talk? Loki speculation?
Sure. Do you have speculation? Is that why you would like to talk about it?
Yeah, and just some general breakdown. Yeah. I know we always say, "Oh, we'll wait till the shows," but then you know, we never do. There was another show that came out this week. Dave season 2 premiered. I have not watched it yet. I'm gonna wait for a few episodes to build up. Yeah, that is what I was thinking of, but is no correlation to this podcast, so that's fine. Loki episode 2. We got Lady Loki reveal. Spoilers.
People think she's not Lady Loki. There's a lot of, because she's blonde, people think she's Enchantress, which I just don't agree with, because she had the horns and everything. She's Lady Loki, and we were told we're tracking a Loki variant. I
do agree she doesn't look like Loki. Physically,
they should have given her black hair. They should.
Yeah.
I will say that for sure. But I don't think her having blonde hair opens speculation for it to be a completely different character.
No, I think... Yeah, well, and that's the whole point of variations, is that it could be literally anything.
That's the whole point of this show.
Yeah. I will say, I want to see more before I make any comments about Lady Loki, because we literally got technically only 10 seconds of
her, because we had her character throughout the last 20 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see where it goes, but I think you were pretty spot on of her being
what she's gonna be
actually be the hero potentially, or a protagonist.
I do think what she did seems malicious at this point. Watching her
right
is a very malicious thing, but
Yeah.
I do feel like she could be doing that to slow down the TVA.
I think it was just a distraction. Yeah. To kind of spread him thin, so then she could maybe go for the timekeepers. This also happening in episode 2 makes sense. Like, that's right. This is just one plot. It's not like a fun 20 episode season.
And the rest of the episodes will be them closing those off while also pursuing her.
Yeah. He went with her.
Yeah.
So that's also something I didn't think would happen.
No. Yeah. It's a very interesting. That's exactly why I think they're gonna be together. Like not together, but like they'll be. Loki would.
Loki eats box,
especially his own. There is a theory that we have also already been introduced to another variant of Loki.
Owen Wilson.
Because there's multiple moments where he's talking to Renslayer, that lady that's in charge, and she's like, Loki reminds me of blah, 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 blah. Like, she's like talking about how like there's familiarity in him, and people are like, oh, it's because Owen Wilson is secretly a variant. Which I wouldn't be against.
I'm not against,
but I think it's a little far fetched.
It's a little strange. It's like one revealed too many in that same area.
Yep.
I'm okay with him being something like more than just Mobius. Also, God, please give him a better name that doesn't remind me of that Jared Leto movie that is still happening.
So have you heard about the Kang theory, Kang the Conqueror?
Yes, that he is one of the timekeepers because they look so similar.
Not even like that timekeeper doesn't just look like Kang the Conqueror.
He has the design.
It looks like Jonathan Majors, who is playing Kang the Conqueror, that we know is playing Kang the Conqueror. Have you seen that comparison?
The statue?
The cartoon from Miss Minutes.
I saw the cartoon comparison to the comic book Kang, and then I saw the statue comparison to the actor.
Yeah, so this is the actor. I'll put a picture of Jonathan Majors up on the screen.
Okay.
That's the actor. This is the cartoon. I'll have them side by side because Google will not do that for me. That looks like a very similar
cartoonization,
a minimalist design of that person.
Yeah, and just
and then the statue, and then every time that there's anything like when they're doing the court stuff in the first episode, and then when Renslayer and Mobius are in her office and there's the 3 statues, it always stays on the center one for a second, which is that timekeeper.
Interesting.
There's also theories that the other agent that he was talking about, seen another guy behind my back, is Kang. Which I think is less likely.
Yeah.
Because he's a very powerful dude. Him being one of the timekeepers makes sense.
Yeah. Did you see Peggy Carter?
I did. Did you see the interview from the writer talking about that?
Didn't he just say that he doesn't think he can say anything?
Somebody asked him, he said, I did see that. And they're like, can you say anything on it? He's like, I saw it.
Interesting.
I don't think it'll come into play at all. Like, I think if anything, it was a fun cameo.
I don't know why I think it's either an accident that it looks like her, or it's on purpose. Because I don't think they put her in it if it doesn't come to anything.
I do.
Really? Like that small though?
Yeah.
Because like, what's the point of that then?
I don't know. Just this? They want more people talking about it?
Yeah, but I feel like they'd make it more flagrant if that was the case. Because it was such a blink if you miss it.
I could see it happen going either way.
Yeah, I think it just means nothing. Like, it just was a lady from that time period, and it wasn't her. But if it was supposed to be her, I think we're getting Steve in episode 5. Or 6. Or, like, a post-credit scene of, like, him in front of the council or something. I think that'd just be a funny little, like, why not? Or we're getting that show. I want that show.
I think that show is a dream.
It's a dream. It's a dream for sure.
It's not a dream I'm against. I'm not gonna crush your hopes of that dream because I also hope for that.
That being said, I still think the best way to reuse Steve again is in another 10 years at your next Infinity War level event.
Bring him back.
Bring him back, some time travel. Maybe even it would be sick if Ant-Man goes into the time stream, catches him at the last Infinity Stone delivery, and he's like, I know you're going back to Peggy. We need you just one more time. And he gives like a little eye roll. Or maybe it's on Asgard. And so he puts the ether back into Jane. And then he's like, one last ride, or like something like that.
It would have to be Thor then. Thor shows up with whoever's pulling him through the time travel.
Yeah. What if it's Jane? And she grabs the ether needle off him, and she's like, I'll put this back myself, thank you. That's a bit much. That's unnecessary, but plus she's not going to sign on to more movies, let's be honest. At least not a decade away. And make sure if you love licking up, you smash that like button. Make sure you turn the notifications on to Munch More Box and mash that subscribe the same way you mash with your tongue. I've been Preston.
And I'm Jeremy.
This is a podcast.